Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Johngy podcast, without which life would be incomplete and have little or no meaning. I, of course, am who else but Tommy else, and he is the Barney to my Fred. He is the Richie Cunningham to my Arthur Fonzarelli.
Oh, God.
He is my Woody to my Sam Malone, the Shirley to my Laverne. From johngysbeat.com, Mr. John Robleski.
You could have said I was your Carmine to your Fonzie.
Carmine and Fonzie never really, they're two different shows.
Same city. They were crossovers.
It was a crossover, but two different shows. You can't cross over characters because it's a buddy thing.
You can mix noodles, but you can't cross over. Well, okay, then Laverne and Shirley, you said you're Laverne. All the other ones, I was kind of the lower ranked person. So would Shirley be lower?
Shirley's lower for sure. Well, first of all, what's the show called? All right. So, second of all, no, Laverne was, first of all, she was hotter.
Laverne was hotter?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What a no. Shirley was a prude. She was a fucking prude.
I'm not talking about personality.
No. Well, okay. Even still, I mean, she was not unattractive by any means. She wasn't. I'm not pulling away from her by that. I'm just saying that Penny Marshall more attractive in my estimation.
Well, I'll take a city.
But see now,
is Cindy Williams still alive?
Now I get this with Three's Company though too, because I've never at any point really found Janet attractive at all, and I know people that she's their favorite, and I don't get it.
Well, I like Janet Lee Harrison.
She was Cindy.
Yeah, it was like 1 or 2 seasons old.
Yeah, she was the middle one. Well, she was very Priscilla Barnes is mine.
Yeah,
oh man, she was the best. Oh, was Priscilla Barnes the best?
And she was very friendly when I met her.
Well,
now Joyce DeWitt, extremely friendly.
Yeah, well, there's two halves to that equation right there, and I'm sure one part was an influence on the other. So,
who wouldn't want to beat me?
But yeah, no, I mean, when you're talking buddy system, you can't cross over shows. It just doesn't work like that.
All right.
You'd be the Lenny to my Squiggy, if we're going to go.
Fine. Lenny was the talented one.
But everyone thought that Squiggy was the coolest. He was the funniest.
Yeah.
Lenny just followed him around. And
Lenny got more chicks than Squiggy.
If you mean like Squiggy got 1, Lenny got 2, then sure.
Twice as many.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. So what's going on in Johngy's world? I know we a few episodes back we had conversation about some of my gripes about Major League Baseball as I've been getting more and more deep into the world of it. You said that you have pondered some of the things we discussed.
I did.
And you've brought some things that you'd like to come back and revisit.
Yes. One of your rules was that you cannot make trades of any sort during the season. You start with your team, you end with your team.
Yes, sir.
Right. Let's say, as happens, the Cubs catcher sucks, so they cut him.
Mm-hmm.
Could any other team sign him? You said no.
They can sign him. They just can't use him until the next year.
Could they use him in the minors?
Sure.
Okay. All right. Because otherwise,
no. They can put him in the minors, and I said that, like if you needed to replace a player, you could draw from your minors, you can draw from your farm system. That's fine. But he would be ineligible, though, in that scenario.
I get that.
Because he
now let's say
because he doesn't need to just sit on his ass. It's not helping anybody if he's just not moving and not doing anything for 9 months. So
okay, so your pitching staff gets 4 injuries at the same time. You got to call up 4 pitchers from AAA.
When the hell does this ever happen? When was the last time somebody lost 4 pitchers right away?
Cubs had 3 on the disabled list at the same time.
That's true. Actually, you're right.
So
Well, all right.
so you call up three from AAA, then they got to bring three from AA and on and on.
Yeah.
And then so the lowest ranked
Rough
team.
year. I don't know what to tell you. Sucks to be you. I don't, just,
Okay.
you know, and unfortunately, this is something that the Cubs, you're right, they do face this. And, I feel like we have a good team, but we're just not winning games. Like I like the team that we have, and I feel like all the guys play their spots very well, but we're just not better than the other teams. I don't know
Well,
what
see,
else
I'll
we can
disagree.
say.
I think the Cubs have a solid team, but they lack star power. They lack, home run power. They're just a good team. They got a lot of guys that would be like good B level players. They don't have enough A level players. You're not going to win a World Series with this team.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're kind of saying the same thing. I feel like yeah, maybe the talent is level across the board, and that's why, like I said, they're a good team, but they're
Yeah,
just not good enough to beat these other teams. And they're losing by like one run most games
right.
these days. I mean, so it's
Sox
not like
fired the manager, by the way.
what?
The Sox fired their manager, by the
Well,
way.
that's a very appropriate move. Good for them.
All
I
right,
mean,
moving on. I got a couple. I got a few more here.
okay,
What's your view on City Connect jerseys?
not into it.
Okay. What about just alternate like throwback type? Do you like any of that stuff or just stick to your main jerseys?
No, I'm okay with trying out some different ones. That's it's. I think some things they get a little overboard. They come up with a jersey for like anything.
Well, it's all marketing.
I think they could be more selective in it, but I'm not opposed to the alternate jerseys. I have one pet peeve that goes across all uh, teams, and that's the gray jerseys, gray uniforms. I can't think of a single team that I think looks good in a gray uniform. Maybe it's just I don't like the color gray. I think it's just boring. I think that maybe it's the pro wrestler in me. I think your uniform should pop. I think they should look cool. I think every one of them should look cool. Your away jerseys and your home jerseys. One of the things I love about the Cubs, their home jerseys. I mean, just their home uniforms are fantastic. I love the white and the pinstripes, the red, the white, and the blue, and the whole thing. It's one of the reasons I didn't like the White Sox growing up, literally, was because they were black and white, and the Cubs had the cool red, white, and blue colors. And that really was it. Also, the backdrop of Wrigley really makes a big difference, too. And, Comiskey was never really like an attractive ball field.
No, no, it's
So,
functioning and that's about it.
but see, like, the same, like, any team, Cardinals, them in the grays, awful,
Well,
awful.
like the
Them,
Yankees, though, that's tradition. They've got that goes back to the
look,
days
I'll
of
give
Babe
you
Ruth.
I'll give you one team in the whole league that gets to wear gray, and that's their
Yankees.
yeah, that's fine. Yankees can have the
Okay.
gray. Yankees can be, but then that's that. No more grays for anybody else. You don't get to be gray. Well, what? I mean, look, even the Cardinals, I mean, they've got red, white, and yellow where the Reds have red and white. It's like at least the Cardinals took one more color in there to differentiate themselves.
Well, now, but if you go way back in time, no.
I
All right.
understand, but here in our modern era, I think that they need to put a little more. They need to get me in there and start talking about the situation here with the colors.
Universal DH.
You mean just what? Having a regular DH all the time?
Yeah, instead of National League pitchers bat.
Explain me the question a little more.
For many, many, many years since 1973. Well, prior to 1973, the pitcher always batted
Right.
everywhere.
And now they took that out.
1973, the designated hitter came into the American League.
Yeah.
In, I don't know, 2 years ago, maybe it was, or was it last year? Cross baseball, DH everybody.
Right.
Pitchers
Yeah.
no longer bat.
Right. I'm with you.
Yay or nay?
Oh, I'm all for it. Yeah. I don't think the pitcher should have to bat. I
All
don't
right,
think
you're wrong. How about
Why?
how
Well, tell
about
me why. Tell me why. Why
I
don't you?
like the strategy. I like the strategy of I like first of all, I like when pitchers because there are a lot of not a lot, but there are enough pitchers that know how to hit. Second of all, I like the strategy. You can't just pinch hit for a pitcher then. You got to take him out. And if you take him out, then you know the next guy's got a bat. I like the strategy of that rather than just have some big clod who can't field. All of a sudden, he's your DH.
Would you want the kicker on a football team to play another spot on the team?
That's not the same thing.
It's exactly the same thing. He has a very specific role. It's go out and kick the ball. The pitcher goes out and throws the ball. I always thought it was bullshit that he had a pitch. I
Well,
was
then why
like,
don't we
this.
just have 9 hitters and 9 defensive players?
The hardest working guy in my opinion is the catcher. I mean,
Absolutely.
that
The
guy.
catcher.
Yeah, I mean that guy. He's sitting there. He's squatting. And he's got to catch the ball. He's got to throw the ball as many times as the pitcher does. To throw it back to him. He's got to be ready to field at any given moment. And he's got to go out and bat. That guy's killing himself
So
out
do you
there. I
want a
think.
designated hitter for the catcher?
Yeah, that guy should get
Well,
a.
okay, then
That guy
like
should
I
get a
said,
break.
why not just
Guy should
all
get a
here's my
break.
offense, here's my
Because
defense.
here's why. Because those two guys are working harder than the guy who's standing picking his nose in right field. Okay.
I
I
don't
mean
like this. I don't like this one at all.
the infielders are working, but even they are still kind of just standing there. They get a little bit of a break between this and that and everything. The pitcher just keeps going and going and going until he finally gets pulled. And the catcher's there all day, They don't pull the catcher.
All right. What about the intentional walk where they no longer have to throw 4 pitches? It's just I signal for I'm throwing an intentional walk and he just goes to first base.
I go, I don't know what I think about that. I get the strategy behind it. I don't know. I think maybe I like the idea of them having to earn the walk, you know, more than just being able to say, because it takes talent to earn a walk. I mean, you need to know how to read the pitches that are coming at you, and
Yeah, but
because
if it's an intentional walk, I mean, the catcher
you're,
calls it out,
yeah,
forced.
no, I get it. I mean, they don't have to swing; they just go right to first base, and so yeah, there's a benefit to the fielding side of things because now they've got a guy on base. But if it's like that guy is potentially like if they get down and they walk him and now they're like at 2 outs or something like that, that's them banking that this next guy is going to make this thing really, count or something. So I don't know. That one's a tough one. I could kind of go either way on it.
All right, I got one last
I
one
see the
then.
value in both.
I
So
got one last one. Extra innings, put a runner at second base.
I get why they did it. Uh, I say nay. I say
All
nay.
right.
I get it. They're trying to speed up the game. If they get some, I mean, it's level on both sides. Each team gets the same thing. So, but I don't know. I still think I'd rather see you earn it. So,
Well, see now, for the most part, you would have my vote as commissioner.
all right.
We'd quibble over a few things, but for the most part, as it pains me to say this, but I think your ideas would improve the game.
I would also save power by not turning on the lights during the game at any of the fields without the lights. Okay. When the sun is out blasting at 1:30 in the afternoon, those gigantic lights that are all around the field don't need to be on. Let the electricity go somewhere better used. All right. So, we did an episode of Pinfalls about SummerSlam, and we had a special guest on, Mr. Joseph White,
Yes,
owner of Whitney Collectibles at, I believe it's 485 Main Street in Glen Ellyn, Illinois.
beautiful, Glen Ellyn.
Beautiful Glen Ellyn. It is beautiful.
I agree.
I've lived here 25 years now. Um, so we talked about how he's got his store there, but he will be also at the all-night flea market, DuPage County Fairgrounds on the 17th. Now, because of this, he will not be at the store. He will, however, have a special guest celebrity cashier
Oh no.
working from 9 to 5. So if you can't make it out to the fairgrounds, but you still want to get your Whitney Collectibles merchandise, you can stop by Whitney Collectibles and see none other than yours truly
Oh
sitting
man.
behind the counter there, working the cash register. So
That should be a podcast all on its own.
I think it's going to be fun, man. I asked him, I said, what are you going to do? He's like, well, we'll just be closed. I'm like, you can't close. I'm like, you could be making money in two places, man. I'm like, just, yeah, what if people show up and nobody's there? I said, I'll sit there, you know? So he's like, do you know how to work a cash register? I was like, yeah, man, I've done a lot of cash registers in my day. So, yeah. So come
Well,
on
that
out,
should be interesting.
come on out and visit.
I would, except I'm going to be at Fan Expo.
You can see yours truly. He's got Funko Pops. He's got tons of wrestling autographs and wrestling memorabilia, merchandise, movie posters, custom framed posters, all sorts of real wild little knickknacks and buttons and things like that. It's a little museum. You could just kind of walk around and look at all sorts of stuff. It's pretty cool. So
And at some point, Tommy's actually going to coordinate getting
I don't know
us
why
a.
you keep making it seem like I'm holding this up somehow or something
I
like
just
that.
said you're going to coordinate us getting an on-site
Yeah,
interview
I
there
know, but you keep bringing it up. Like, it's
because I want it
happening.
to happen.
Well, I do too, but if anyone's holding it up, it's him. All right.
Oh, no,
So
don't throw him under the bus.
I'll throw him wherever I want to. That guy's going right under the bus. This is all on him. I've been talking to him for months trying to get something together with him. And then it took forever to get him to get on pinfalls. We'll get there. We'll get there.
I'm just
He's
reminding
got
you,
a
is
perfect
all.
spot in the place. I'm ready to go. So,
Richie is just reminding Fonzie that that car needs to be greased,
mhm.
or that motorcycle needs to be greased.
Speaking of which, because he will be there at that all-night flea market, when I do get off of duty, I will be going and heading over there because I'm on a mission to get my photograph with none other than Mindy Cohn from The Facts of Life.
Get an interview with her. Get her on the podcast.
I'll see what I can do. Natalie from Facts of Life, for those who may not know which one she was, yeah, she's going to be there. So I'm looking
Throw
forward.
Global Traveler's name out there. Tell her it's got 4.5 million views. Tell her our podcast is all over. Do whatever it takes, man.
Yeah,
You get that.
it's all
I will
over
applaud
already.
you.
I will. I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do. You just you gotta know how to read the person. You can't just get all like handsy with them like you did with you know
Kathleen Turner.
Kathleen Turner, and then have them throwing me out of there. So uh, but yeah, so Facts of Life is on. Uh, it's not Me TV. They're on Antenna TV right now, and I love all of the antenna stations. Like and Me TV's got there's Me TV, there's Me TV Classics. They've got
You.
the U and all that stuff. So, but Me TV just started a new one, and it's Me TV Tunes, and it's just Warner Brothers cartoons,
Oh,
Flintstones, The Jetsons, Underdog, Inspector Gadget. I mean, like, just all of the classics are on there. It is absolutely fantastic. 24 hours a day, running just on open air antenna television. Because I don't have cable. I haven't had cable in 21 years. And I've always had an antenna since. And so anytime something like this comes along, it's a big deal.
well, I'm gonna have to
But
look for that.
it's great. It's great. It's like I can put it on anytime and I'll be able to watch. I mean, Woody Woodpecker. I mean, it's like any whatever's on is something I'll watch. So it's a nice go to station there.
The Super Friends.
I haven't seen, but they have a lot of Hanna-Barbera stuff on there, so it's entirely possible because I'm pretty sure that was under their umbrella. Um, yeah, so you should check that out.
I like it.
Yes. Well, anything else from the world of Johngy's beat?
I got Fan Expo coming up. Unfortunately, it's the same weekend as your thing. I got AU softball, which is going on strong.
And
When
and and
all
why don't we just get out of the way whatever your excuse is for why you're busy on August 24th? Let's go ahead and do
that's
that now.
softball. It's the last weekend of AU.
Yeah. And what time is the game?
The games are usually 4 p.m. and 6:30, I believe.
All right, so you go cover the 4 p.m. one, and then you can head out to Glen Ellyn for my birthday
That's
party.
not how it works.
You know, what, you go there, you get your photos, you talk to some people, you find out what the score is for the second game later on, and then you write it up, you know? Done. See? Simple. Simple.
There are none so blind as those who do not wish to see.
Yeah. So like sewn into your underwear. With that, folks, thank you
I'm
for
there in
tuning
spirit,
in.
man.
Thank you for
Pick a
tuning
different day. Why
in.
is it always weekend?
Why is it a weekend? Why is it a weekend? Do you think I draw more people on a weeknight?
You might. Have you tried it? No.
Everyone's got to work the next day.
Oh.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter that I
We
have to
don't all
work
just
that
get up
day.
and
I'm
throw
supposed to
on our
change it, but
Aquaman
everyone
shirt and just
works.
do an interview with people. You know, just this. You know, we don't all get the
You know how much
Johngy
work is
life.
involved in this stupid thing? It's not even worth it.
Don't say that. It is worth it. The world, somebody has to be Johngy out there.
And God knows nobody else wants to be.
So you know, I give you that much. I appreciate the sacrifice you make for us all. So,
Wow.
well, with that, I of course have been who else but Tommy else. With me as always, the man on the beat, forever pushing the blonde Aquaman, Mr. John Robleski.